So just number one, I love to play hard. As I used to dance, so like it hit me on a different level, you know, and I love when artistry sort of taps into all the mediums, right? In this. So number one, Winter, what was your inspiration behind this project?
Yeah. Well, first, thank you for the kind words. And I made it with a program with Hillman Grad called Rising Voices. And so the theme of that is the future of work and focusing work in a story. And for a while, I was trying to write a corporate like drama. And then I was like doing a futuristic story and it didn't feel authentic. And I realized it was because I've been around artists my whole life. I was a dancer growing up. I know Alexis was as well. I have my degree in theater. So I've been on stages from a very young age before finding filmmaking. And so I thought this could be a really fun opportunity to center the artist's work and to center the ways in which we're so in our head in regard to our process. And we're so precious about it that we're sort of missing these really beautiful connections happening right in front of us. And yeah, I was really excited to sort of tell that story and to connect with other artists out there. So I think they could relate to that.
Yes, but that's what I liked about it because I feel like nobody really touches on the work side of artistry, right?
Yep.
And so in general, for both of you guys, Winter, what like gravitated you towards Alexis for Yazmine and vice versa for the role for you, Alexis?
Well, first off, Alexis was always our like North Star. Like I knew that I wanted an actress first and then like a dancer like right next to it. Like I was like, this girl has to dance. Because I was a dancer, I can't shoot something that dancers would watch and go, okay, that's not really, like authentic to the journey. And so we wanted Alexis from day one, and Mama's booked and busy. She's such a star. And we fought schedules, and like her team was so gracious about keeping us updated. And it was like a long process of like, guys, we're trying to make this work. She's trying to make this work. Like, if we can do it, we can do it. And I mean, right at the final hour, everything came together, and I was like, let's go, let's shoot, let's rehearse, let's go. I was just so excited. And so, yeah, Alexis, I mean, no brainer. It was like, I hope she wants to come play with us. That was more the conversation.
It did really feel so stars aligned in so many ways. And it had been such a long time since I had like picked up and played inside of the dance space, but it was probably like the area of artistic expression that spoke to me the most vividly growing up.
Yeah.
So, because it's so, I mean, obviously, literally, physically visceral, but it's just a way of speaking that transcends language, that transcends barriers. There's so much opportunity to say the unsaid. And I think I didn't realize how much I needed that on a deeper, like inner child level to kind of speak beyond the text, speak beyond the page, speak beyond the parameters. And I'm so grateful for Grey's Anatomy. There aren't the words for it, but to step outside of that kind of like, this is the system, this is how we do it, 45 minutes, commercial here, here, here. And Winter is such a spacious, gracious artist. And her perspective is so broad and so deep. And she's all about, here is the frame, here is the structure. It is there to support first and foremost. And beyond that, like, we're entering a fluid space together. There are no boundaries. I'm director, writer, you're actor, but more than that, like, we're teammates. And we're here to make the most authentic, expressive thing possible. And I think, we're both Capricorns.
Yeah, girl.
It's easy for us to be like, what's the plan? What's the system? And what you were saying earlier, Winter, this tension between, we're fighting so hard to, make a space for ourselves in the industry of the art, but we're missing the inner child play space along the way a lot of the time. And so it felt like such a blessing to step into a world of Winters that is all about like reincarnating play.
Man, I absolutely loved it. I love the way it was shot. I automatically knew you were a dancer when I saw it, and I body was moving. I said, yeah, she's a dancer. Like, you know, I could just tell in that, like, I love the arts, like, tremendously. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when you guys were shooting it. What was that like?
It was, I will say, it was so beautiful. And for me, scary beforehand, because to what Alexis just said, we're Capricorns. We know structure. We love plans. We like control. Like, we like knowing this is exactly what I'm going to do. And I knew and really decided this film is going to have to be different from that. And it's really a dance. And me and the team, my DP, the producers, we've done this type of work before in a more contained way. And so in this time, we were like, let's do what we do and tell this story and honor this story. And so it was scary up until I got there. And then the moment we arrived, it was like what Alexis said, like, okay, we're in it. We're supporting each other. We're present. And let's do what we do. And let's have fun, right? Like, the whole point of it is to not lose the play. So put the stress on the side a little bit. Like, we're still stressed, but put that to the side a bit to actually enjoy the fact that we're making this work, and I'm making a dance movie and a music movie. Like, this is my inner child. Like, this is the movie I would be sitting on the floor watching as a kid, like rewinding that dance sequence over and over and over because I'm so into it, you know? So it was really exciting for me. Alexis, I'm curious about your perspective.
That's it. Yeah. And the word presence, that was it. It felt like, you know, those magical moments where there's something else in the atmosphere besides the people that are physically there. It was one of those, like, for 48 hours, every time we showed up on the space, there just like was another presence that was holding us. And this is also a testimony to your work, Winter, but the way that you crafted the light, the way that you had our Steadicam op dancing with us, it was so fluid and so sort of magical. And there's also something about that containment when, like, we don't have a lot of time, we don't have a lot of money, we got to just make the thing, get out. It's like 20 costume changes in 10 minutes, like that there's something kind of magical that comes from there, because you have to rely on your instincts and you have to just trust that you can and you will. And in some space-time continuum, you already have. So trust that it's there and you're collaborating with something bigger than you. That's kind of the feeling it was. Yeah.
So it's so interesting that you brought up, like, having limited time, budget, and all that, because I wanted to ask you, Winter, what's something that most people don't realize when shooting a short film with limited time and budget and everything? Like, what are some things that people don't realize goes into it?
Ooh, I would say I don't think people realize how hard shorts are. Like, it is really hard to crack a short. It's really hard to tell a story with limited real estate, both in terms of, like, time. Like, we're trying to tell this thing in this much time and this much money. And I think people think, oh, it's a short. Like, you just need a couple dollars and a camera and some, like, talented actors and boom, 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 you know? And it really, you put just as much energy into a short as you do a feature film or an episode of television. Like, you're still making choices and you're still deciding, okay, what's our version of this? And then you start, you know, making plans and finding out, I can't afford that plan. Didn't realize I couldn't afford that plan. Cool. Pivot. Like, how do we continue to pivot up until the film is locked in the edit? Like, it never stops. Like, you're always like, oh crap, I thought I could do that. Or I thought that would be that's not easy. How is that not an easy thing to just do real quick? And so I think that's what people, every time I have people who've been like, I'm gonna make a short, I'm like, go ahead, girl. They always call me after, like, that was hard. I'm like, yeah, it's real hard.
And what is so important about, you know, in these Rising Voices and teaming with, you know, Hillman Grad, for filmmakers to know, and just people in general that want to support projects like these?
Ooh, I would say that there's a lot of diverse and talented filmmakers out here who really are looking for opportunities to tell work. Film is an expensive medium. Like, I miss the days where I would go to rehearsal and learn a piece and dance, and then we'd put it up somewhere. We'd get a little space and we'd perform. And, you know, it might not be all the spectacle, but the work is still very much there and very rich. And film is just a medium where you need things. You need cameras, you need people, and you need to pay them for their time, right? And so I think that's what I would invite folks who can support us, please do, because these films open up so many doors and they become your calling card, and it's where you get to really curate your voice and your point of view. So when you're working in these larger mediums with more money on the line, you're like, I know what I do. I know who I am. This is how I shoot. A set, I always say, a set is a set is a set. This is a bigger one, but it's still a set. I know how this thing functions. And if it wasn't for shorts, I wouldn't, right? Like I would be very, I think, lost in those larger spaces.
Yeah. Now, Alexis, this was somewhat of a full circle moment because you did this project and then Lena Waithe starred on Grey's Anatomy. Did you have like a full circle? Like, wow, I came from, you know, being a part of something that she helped build, and now I'm also starring alongside her in a series that she's guest starring on.
Yeah, there was so much synergy in this project. I'm meeting with a filmmaker right now who is doing the Hillman Grad program now, and there's just been a lot of kind of overlapping, intertwining connections that are related to Play Hard. You know, we then got to screen not that long ago at Debbie Allen's Dance Academy. She does a herstory program during Women's History Month, and she screened Play Hard, and Winter and I and Daniel all spoke, and, you know, Debbie's executive producer on Grey's, and she didn't even really know I danced, but when I called her about Play Hard, I was like, Debbie, you gotta come kick my butt. Like, I need you to kick my butt. And she let me go to her dance studio like every morning before Grey's. After we wrapped, I worked with Rasta, who's one of the teachers there, you know, who got me into shape, and all on her generosity of time and space. So there is something about this film that like has a vibration about it that I think speaks to people and hopefully is a sort of encouragement to lean on each other, ask for help, and don't be afraid of being an artist in process who is reinventing themselves no matter what stage or level, you know, you're working at. Even if you thought that you weren't a dancer anymore, like, don't be afraid to pick up old tools. Don't be afraid to call old friends. Don't be afraid to welcome in new friends that offer new perspectives about who you are, what you want to say. You know, I feel like there's something very, very special here. And a lot of people have shared that it felt like just the taste of something that maybe has a bigger life. So we're hoping to keep going.
First off, when it was like over, I was like, no, I want more. I want what? You know, because it is really, it's a really special project, right? It's really, really good. It's so interesting that you talked about, like, you know, you can get back into these things because like that's where I'm at now, right? Like, dance is such a beautiful medium, and there's just so much, especially in a world where you might have a lot of structure. There's a lot that you can lose yourself in that world. Now, I didn't realize that you mentioned Debbie Allen. I didn't realize that you went to her for assistance on this project.
Yes, she was my first call. She was because she also is someone who is so expansive about her definition of dance and who is allowed to dance. You know, she grew up in Texas where she was the only mixed race woman at the studio, and then she started getting less and less opportunities there. So they left to go to another school where she could learn. And, you know, if she hadn't resisted the no's and said yes to herself, we wouldn't have the institution that is Debbie Allen. So she was the first call when I was like, I don't know if I have it. You know, there is no in her book. So I'm still always surprised at the breadth of her generosity, but I knew she was the one to call. Yeah.
I love that. So it seems like with this project, behind this project is mentorship, because you're in the where you're getting mentorship and you're getting assistance, and then you on the side of being the actress in it, you're getting mentorship and you're getting assistance. So can you just speak a little bit on the importance of mentorship, especially in this industry, especially for Black women? You know, what's your take on that?
Go for it, babe. I want you to start.
I'm someone who is only here because there were people who invited me into the room when I didn't feel like I maybe deserved to be there. I didn't have the talent to be there, or where I came from and my point of view felt so different sometimes from what I saw. And so there were people that went, no, that's interesting. Let's honor that. Let's honor your taste and let's see who you are. and let's let you flourish. And I think we need more of that. We are in a business where you need someone to open a door at some point, right? You need someone to say, I see value in that and I want to support that vision. And like hearing Alexis speak now, like hearing someone like Debbie Allen open up her doors to foster her talent and creativity in pursuit of like this film that I'm dreaming of. It's like, it's honestly unreal. Like I almost cried when you were talking about that, honestly, because I'm just like, to know someone like her offered support in any way is insane to me. And I'm really fortunate. I just feel really fortunate to have people around me to be in a program like this, where there are a lot of filmmakers who wanted to sit in that seat, who are like fighting to get in that room. And I was invited with this story that is different and has its own energy and pulse. And on the page was a risk, right? Everyone said, if you don't nail that sequence, if you don't nail that, this film doesn't work. And I knew that too. But to know someone said, go try it, like go for it. And we got your back. It's just a really humbling, and I just feel very blessed. And to know that it's brought me so many creatives with such incredible careers. It's special. It really feels special.
In a lot of ways, for me, the median of film, it's like a place where you can crystallize heroes and mentors and ideas of pushing past boundaries to people that you may never even meet. But I think that's what first drew me to this whole space as a kid. Is I would see movies, I would see Black women doing things and saying things that I didn't know were safe, was possible. And then I felt like I have to know what it feels like to be that sort of expressive about my inner world. And I feel like this film, but all film, it's a place where we can share with each other that there's more to the story than all the things that, socially we're conditioned to believe we can't do, or we can't say, or we can't be. So I feel like mentorship is vital to the industry itself, but also I think there's something so precious about film that it's able to reach you at your home screen, on your phone, if it's your phone, but we can reach people in communities who are told and taught that they can't, and we can tell them that they can.
Yes.
I love that. Oh gosh, I love this conversation. I didn't realize that when you were shooting or preparing for Play Hard, Alexis, you were also shooting Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. So how did you grow as an artist because you were doing two different mediums at the same time?
Yes, that is honestly my favorite way to work, is when there's opportunities to stretch more than one thing at a time, and the way that they communicate with each other feels. The previous summer, I did a play actually with Debbie Allen. She did a production of Fetch Clay, Make Man, which is about Cassius Clay becoming Muhammad Ali. And even there, it was like when I was on set for Grey's, we had to bring it down. The microphone's right here. It's all about like what you're giving to the camera. And then we go to rehearsal, no mics, front, it's 3/4 seating, reach to the back, and playing in between those spaces, I think always kind of creates fertile soil for something new to grow in each space. And that's how I felt about Play Hard too. It was so refreshing to my system to be challenged in a way to get more in my body than just like the medium shot, and to use my toe to try to tell a story, So I'm so grateful again, Winter. I can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of your world. And it's given me gifts like on so many levels, in past lives, it feels like, and future lives. And it really did feel like something sort of sacred that came right
This I love. Okay, what? Because it's like, it's rotational of giving flowers out there. But I think that really is what artistry is, because I think it's a freeing thing, especially when you create space. I love the chemistry between you, Alexis, and D Smoke. Like, I loved it. How did you guys go about building that chemistry? Because it showed on the screen, right? But was it immediate, or was it something that you had to build? Because I don't know if he danced, or if he worked with dancers in games, but it seems so natural.
That felt like also sort of kismet, I think. It feels like we've been friends in a couple lifetimes before. It did not feel like I was meeting him for the first time by any stretch. Very nurturing energy, like almost like sibling-like. I felt like when we called cut, it felt very like, I've got you, you've got me. But I think there also might be something there. I'm curious your thoughts, Winter, but when you were casting, but there might be something there, which it sounds like all of us relate to here, about, being versed or interested in multiple mediums. He is a musician by birthright. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So blessed and talented beyond the physical realm. He's such a gift himself, and so gifted. But I think there's something about, like, if you are able to express yourself in multiple art forms, then you can reach people in multiple ways. Even, when he's speaking, he's also rapping, like when he's playing drums, he's also speaking. Like he finds a way to kind of like blend the forms together. And I think maybe that's also a level that we were connecting on he's also someone who speaks multiple languages. He's a teacher as well as a creator. He's lived all over the world. He's not afraid to push limits in terms of his own self-identification and expression. And I think when you're kind of boundless like that, you're just able to like reach people more deeply. And it's not about who you are or what you can do for me, but it's about like, what can we create together? These are the tools I have. These are the tools you have. These things overlap. Like, let's play in these spaces. So his playfulness, I think, across the spectrum of his expression was just something I really gravitated toward and admired.
It was such a joy working with the two of them and watching them work together. I mean, I just echo everything Alexis just said. And I think from day one, I was like, this film requires artists to show up. Like, I need people who identify like, I am an artist. And not everyone does, I'm learning in this business. Some people really don't. They're like, I'm more of a technician. And like, this is why I do it and this is how I do it. And respect to that. But I was like, we need people who want to create something new together and who want to show up and go, what's the canvas? How do we play? What tools are we, like, let's play. Like, that was so important. And so in casting, it needed to be those two. And it was really heartbreaking at one point when it thought it might not be, just because of schedule. Like, they were incredible, but it's a lot going on. And I mean, she said when you met Daniel, it felt like family. I met Daniel on set. Like, we finalized that contract like hours before shooting. Like, it was insane. And so I was like prayed up, honestly. Like, I think I know this person. I feel their energy. We've had phone calls. Like, I think I know what I'm walking into, but I could get a different person in that room. And he was all of that and more. It really feels like earth. He feels like soil to me. And he's just like, what are we planting in this soil? Like, what is this? And I'm like, ooh, I can get in that. Like, I love that. Like, let's play, And like him exploring his musicality and drumming, which is something, he's a drummer, but that's not a space he gets to play in every day, or people even know about his creativity. And I think his curiosity with Alexis as a dancer and not just as an actress with this career, he's like, I love that. I'm excited about that. But also, she's going to be talking to me through movement. And I have no idea what that movement is yet. And to watch you guys enjoy each other's creativity in real time was so cool to witness. Like, we had moments where I'm like, that's amazing. Like, he's excited to connect with you in movement. So yeah, I can go on and on about these two. And the chemistry was so rich and so authentic. And I just was like, let me get out of the way. Like, I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to kill it. Like, let's just keep nurturing this energy. It was really beautiful to watch.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Quick little Yeah, I don't know what the word is for this. It's just quick. But what you just said about like capturing things in real time, that's the other gift of, working like off the grid a little bit. And when you don't have to be so formulaic, and it's, not about delivering what others expect of you, what a studio expects of you. You can just film, you can just roll film. You can, so much improvisation we use. Like Winter, you would have us kind of just like loosely get into the scene. You would roll the camera. We'd have like a couple minutes to just like improvise how the conversation might have gotten us to where the script then begins. And your generosity and your sensitivity of knowing that sometimes it's the blue notes, as they say in jazz, that's where the magic actually is. It's between what's written on the page. It's between the lines. And I just really appreciate you for fostering the space for that and then capturing it, because that takes an extra sensitivity, and again, it's a sort of generosity and like a loose holding of what's on the page and what we're prepared to do. So,
and thanks for playing, because I don't know if every artist would have responded. Like, it's like I'm ready to do the scene, and it was so fun to be like, these people in front of me want to play and explore this moment and each other, and they're allowing that to take place in a really authentic and like beautiful way. How can I not shoot it? How can I not give you that space? So thank you both. I'm so grateful. I love her. If you can't tell,
I could. It's the constant flowers that I'm like. I love all of this. Because you don't often see people just very appreciative of giving someone space to stretch themselves creatively, and I feel like that's what you guys were able to do and create this, and it absolutely shows. And I do feel like you've already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because it seems like a lot of this was trusting your instinct as well as trusting one another. And so what was something that you took away with this project in regards to trusting your instinct and one another?
Ooh, what did I learn about trust? Honestly, I think I learned to trust my instincts more, because I think I felt a lot of stress coming up to shooting this project, and I held a lot of fear because I was working with a lot of elements. We're making original music in like 6 weeks, right? Like really complex music in 6 weeks. We're choreographing, we're teaching someone music, we're hiring consultants and drum consultants to go, okay, here's the notes. Like, it was just a lot of elements I hadn't worked with before in a very short amount of time. And so while I knew it could be beautiful, there was a fear of like, are we going to actually pull this off? Like, I don't know. And I think walking out of Play Hard, I said, you better trust yourself. If you survived this film and made this film, and I love it, just selfishly, I love it, and it doesn't feel as hard as it was to execute in that time frame, I feel like I can do anything now because of that short. And so, yeah, just trusting yourself and trusting yourself even when you're going through the fire. It's like, yeah, it is really hard right now because it is hard. It is a hard thing to do for everybody. So just embrace that hard and go, cool, this is our version of hard today. And we're going to put that in our backpack and we're going to keep trekking along, because this is a beautiful film before the film actually exists. It is beautiful, and I just have to trust that. So that this film taught me that for sure.
Yes. I'm so glad you highlighted that word. That's been on my mind lately a lot. I don't know if it's all these retrogrades and eclipses, but the word trust has felt so important lately. And trust in community, I think, is the other thing I'm realizing. Like, there's a reason why it felt like I'd known Winter for 3,000 years. There's a reason why I felt that way with Daniel. Like, there's a reason Lena ended up going to Grad. She's a friend of Debbie's, who's a mentor of mine. There's a reason. And I am excited to be reminded how important it is to not, again, wait for permission from a studio, to wait for an audition to land in my inbox, but to make with each other and to just continue to be in the room together, ask questions, have dialogues like this, empower each other, embrace each other, and create amongst each other. The industry is a beautiful, powerful place. It's also fickle. It also changes. Doors open and close by the whim of the wind a lot of the time, it feels like. But what we do have control over is continuing to gather and making things on our own volition and trusting that that's enough. And I believe that making things with people who are so synergetically aligned and supportive of you, those things will rise. And I think we have to trust that too, and just continue to say yes where there seems to be flow, there seems to be encouragement, there seems to be community amongst each other, and enjoy the rise together.
Sorry, that was a word. Trusting community. For a director, trusting community, because you feel like you have to have every answer, you have to know everything, and it has to be like you have to visualize, and it's so much pressure. And I love when you said that, like my heart like jumped a little, because there's something about you'd feel a lot less anxiety and stress if you trust the people sitting around the table with you and know that they're bringing their full selves and they're going to surprise you and excite you, and it's not going to be what you envision in all the right ways, actually. Because they're bringing so much. Trust them, allow them to play with you, and don't feel like you have to know everything. Oh, that was a word. Thanks, Alexis. I'm gonna take that with me.
Yeah. No, really, because honestly, I feel like we talk about community, but we don't really talk about community. And I it's something to say, like, and it's the right community, because it's also like you have to make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, because those people will make or break you, you know? So I think like, I'm glad, Alexis, you touched on it, and then Winter, you doubled down on it, because I think especially now we I don't know, I think we're seeing a lot of great talented people, but we're not seeing a lot of great talented communities coming together and working and showering each other with, you know, appreciation as you two are doing, right? And so I think that's even in itself is a conversation that we should start having a lot more of, and putting ourselves in places, as well as creating these places, like as you did, Winter. It seems like you created, through this project, you created a community that maybe Alexis didn't realize she needed, maybe you didn't realize you needed, but you came together and you built something, and you want to keep building stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's dope. I could obviously talk to you ladies forever.
Same.
For real.
I can.
This is good.
It is. It's low key therapeutic for me. I'm not gonna have these conversations because you feel a little bit less alone in the world when you speak to people and you hear their journey and it inspires you, or it just, you know, it just does something in a positive, right?
Yep.
What are quiet? Lastly, what is like quiet moments of growth for you that most people haven't seen?
So gorgeous.
That's deep. Take that, Alexis.
Ooh. You know, I think this is such a beautiful question, because it's also what the film sort of celebrates is artists in process who thought that they worked one way, and then by sort of letting them embrace a person that they resisted upon first meeting, there's so much more opportunity for their own growth and expansion and self-trust. Ultimately, by letting someone in, you get to see that you can show up more for the playful, unvisited parts of yourself, and they can actually help you reach the heights you're trying to reach. And I think that applies for me too. I think I'm realizing that the tool I have the most is myself, my journey, the things that I'm afraid to look at. You know, I realized lately that I think part of why I was initially excited about acting is because it allowed me to be self-expressive, but through the voice of another being, or embodying another being, or, you know, using the text on the page to say something. And I'm starting to realize more and more that I have to do some more investigating about what it is I want to say, and be less afraid of having a voice that disturbs and disrupts, especially now. We're being called to be loud, to be confrontational, to be brave, to, at the risk of disrupting the status quo, protect and honor and fight for one another. So I'm having this moment of realizing that I have some work and exploration to do in terms of what I want to say from my own heart, and still through the text, and still, of course, through collaboration, but to be clearer on my own sort of artist thesis statement, and especially as an answer to the call of this moment. So that's what I'm That's what I'm trying to grow towards now.
That was beautiful.
It was.
I've been forgetting we're in a thing. I'm like,
yeah.
Like
I wish we were around a real table and like, you know.
No, really, because you were talking. I'm like, I'm having that too. Like, not, and I still want your answer, Winter, but I'm having that as well. And so for you to say that, it's sort of like you're speaking through me, because that's the constant conversation I'm having is how can I use this platform? How can I use my voice in the right way? Right?
Yeah.
How can I not be afraid to risk it all for the greater good?
Yeah.
You know?
I love what you just said, because I think as scary as it is, because we hear the word authenticity a lot, and it seems like, oh yeah, I'm authentic, I'm me, I'm not, you know, all that stuff, the performative side of that. But I think authenticity as an artist is actually very scary. And when you allow yourself to really be honest about the work you're doing, I think what just happened between the two of you is like, you said, I feel like you're speaking what I've been living and thinking myself. And it's because a lot of us are going through similar things, but we're so afraid to sort of share the quiet stuff that we're not connecting on that level. We're only connecting up here on this like industry surface, social media like level, which is great. But there's so much richness underneath that I think we got to allow ourselves to connect with more. For me as a filmmaker, I think the reason I even went to film, because I was an actor, I was a dancer, I was all these other performative things. And I think I felt a need to portray like this image of who I was, because I was really scared about who I actually was, the imperfection of that, the mess. And so I'm trying to get better at, but I'm learning like I'm using film to show those quiet things that people might not see immediately when they meet me, or we're not talking about immediately in these like social spaces. And so I'm Nate. Me and my DP, we say that a lot. Like, I'm really Nate today. Like, I'm really in my head, and I can be very hard on myself, and it's never good enough. And it's always this like that inner rhythm for me can be very intense. And so that's something I don't know people would know, and that's something I'm constantly trying to like quiet and harness and go, okay, what do we want to say or need to say today? Like, I can't plan 2 weeks. I can't plan a month from now. I can't plan necessarily the year, my next 10 years. Like, I don't know what it's all going to be. I can't control all that. What I can control is what I sit down and put out in this world today, whether it's for consumption or not, whether it's celebrated or not. I think that's something we get trapped in. It's like, this is successful. And like, this is, okay, I'm being affirmed by all these fancy things, which is dope. But when all that goes away, to your point, Alexis, it's a beautiful business, but it's a fickle one. And sometimes things you need to say aren't going to be affirmed on big platforms. Can you still see the value in it? And can you still trust that it needed to be said because there's somebody else that needs to see it? And if it's one person that needed to see that and it reached them, I did the job. That's what I was brought here to do. I did the thing. And I'm going to just keep trying to do that. So it's hard and it's scary. And there's an impulse to just be like, I think I could just make what people want me to make. And I'm really fighting to like, make what you need to make what you need to say what you need to say, and trust that the community that needs that too is out there looking for it, wondering who's going to get that out, that thing I feel. And so I hope that the work can do that and keep doing that, because that would feel like I'm called to do a thing and I'm doing it. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah.
It answered the question. It spoke a lot to me. Man, so much that you were saying, both of you guys, in general. And I think it's sort of, I hate the word revolutionary, but I kind of feel like, especially now, it is a revolutionary act to, like you say, create something for at least one person. Like, it's not, I think sometimes we struggle because of the world we live in now, in the social media world. We kind of struggle with, am I making it for myself and those that get it, or am I making it for the popularity of this fake world that, you know, that doesn't exist in the social media realm? And I think it's very, very scary, and it's very revolutionary when you're like, I'm making it for those that get it. And hopefully it's a lot, but if it's for 10 people and that one person, that one thing changes that one person, you know, I've done the right thing. So yeah, this was, listen, I'm not kidding. I can talk to y'all for a while.
I love it.
I really.
People are not ready to go.
I know. It's so rich.
And I really would love to speak with you guys again. Especially if you make this longer, or if there's like a part 2 or something, because I really did love it. I thought it was beautiful. I think it's sometimes rare to see art told through dance, like it's speaking. And I remember the part where I saw you play in the movie, and I saw the synergy between you and him live, right? In real time in that moment. And I thought it was like, it was beautiful. It was really beautiful because, if dance speaks, there is a lot of words that come through your movements. And for you to take this medium, when you're right, especially when it's coming to work or speaking about work, you could have done anything. But to take it from an artist level, I think is so original, very, very original. And so, yes, thank you, ladies, both.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for watching the work and really like digesting it and being excited to talk to the two of us. That means a lot too, because you didn't have to show up the way you did. So thanks for curating this space for us to have this conversation.